back, everybody. Andre with Eagle Express. Too many questions being asked right now. When are things going to get better? What's going on? What's up with the rates? What's up with this? What's up with that? What's up with that? I figured, hey, I'm going to throw a little video out there to tell you guys one thing. I know one thing. I'm 100% certain that nobody knows when things are going to get better. Nobody knows. That's a fact. People can predict all they want. All we can do is we can have hopes for something better, for something decent, and for things to pick back up again, and for rates to get back to normal again. And guess what? They haven't. We were waiting for summertime, and everybody thought, just like I did, and so did a lot of other companies, so did a lot of other veterans in the business. Everybody always thought that summertime, things always pick up in the summertime. That's how it's been throughout the 10-year history that I've been in the business. Things are going to pick back up. Things are going to get back to normal. And guess what? They just haven't. The volume of the freight, it just keeps dropping. The volume of drivers entering into the business, it just keeps rising. And yes, obviously there is a bit of a turnaround, and there will be. I think the big turnaround is still yet to come in the business. I think the rest of 2024 anyways, and we'll see what's going to happen after the election. I mean, a lot of people were saying, well, some of the predictors, that once, campaigns start rolling, people, the campaigns pour money into the government, and, pour money here, pour money there, just to win the election, and things will, things do get better during that time. Guess what? They haven't. They really haven't. So, when will they get better? Well, it's uncertain, and nobody knows. And if somebody tells you that they do, well, you can jot that down and check it in 2, 3, 4, 6 months and see. And they're going to be wrong. Nobody knows. Nobody has any idea. I know one thing. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of drivers. I don't know if maybe I gave birth to some of that competition just by, coming on here. There were maybe a few people before that were doing, YouTube videos and telling people that, hey, sharing the business, sharing the place where you can make money. And a lot of people that jumped into this at the right time, they made money. Right now, when people are still jumping into this, there's a lot of people, I'll tell you this, the funny part is, there's a lot of people that write emails and make phone calls and call and send messages and all kinds of things that are thinking that they're jumping into this business somehow, I don't know how, with old, rusty, junky equipment. A lot of this equipment is not even, a lot of people are trying to get into this with I'm sorry, allergies and asthma don't mix good together. A lot of people are jumping into this thinking that they could do it in their, cargo van. A lot of people think that they could, have an SUV and pull a 8-foot, 10-foot, 12-foot trailer behind them, one of the little ones, like a U-Haul. A lot of people think they can get into this, renting something from U-Haul. A lot of people think they can get into this renting a van or leasing a van too. And I tell you what, a lot of places, you gotta, before you do the rent or lease on a van, you gotta figure out who works with rental or lease vans, because we do not. And there's plenty of other companies who do not as well. But there's tons of people out there right now that actually try to get into the business with old, I don't even know how people load some of that equipment. I've seen it out there. I've seen it personally myself, the junk that people drive out there. That's just one part of it. The junk, the beat upness, some of it's almost missing a roof. I've seen a van at one time where, I don't know what they drove under, a bridge maybe 10 times. I don't know, but that kind of equipment plus the equipment that really doesn't belong in the business and shouldn't be in the business. And I don't know how some guys think you can still do it, and maybe some of you do it, and I don't know who those dispatchers are or those brokers that do load you with that kind of equipment, but yeah, it's best if you don't email us or call me asking me about that kind of stuff, because I do not approve of any of that, and we keep our equipment new with low mileage, that way we break down less, and the brokers that use us, they know that for a fact, that our breakdown percentage volume is super low, thank God. And I know some drivers do break down, and I know sometimes things do happen, and a lot of times, thank God that lately things have been happening, is drivers actually get to finish up their deliveries and finish them, and then have to deal with that. But there's just way too much competition in the business, and I'm not saying, hey, everybody, let's go ahead and leave and whatever. I'm saying that, hey, when you gotta drive for free, some of these loads that brokers post are ridiculous pay. I'm saying, like, I haven't seen that kind of pay in, really, I don't know, 8 years maybe. There was a down one time when California was standing, I think probably 8 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, somewhere around there, that they had port issues, and there was a bunch of ships standing there, couldn't get unloaded from China and wherever else they were bringing products. So there was a big hiccup with that a long time ago, that we were actually getting out of California for like 40 cents a mile back then. West Coast, horrible, been bad, but it just kind of hit and miss. Like, sometimes a driver can get in and we'll get them loaded fast. Sometimes they don't even unload and we already got them loaded. But sometimes it's just a sitting game, a waiting game. So for all of you guys that are thinking of joining the business, well, you're just going to create more competition for yourselves and for everybody else by joining now, because right now is definitely not the time to get into the business. If you're retired, you want to drive, you want to see the country, you got money dripping in from somewhere else, and maybe you don't have to, you want to see the country more and travel more versus actually being busy every day, then yeah, maybe this job's for you. But for those of you guys who are still making van payments, are into this, and are thinking, man, what is going on? I tell you what, we eventually will survive. The strong ones have already put the armor on, and are already doing it. The weak ones, those guys, they're, shopping around, trying to see if they can go to work for another company, trying to see if they can find companies who will allow them to actually have multiple dispatchers, which is not how the business works. And the brokers that do this, they will tell you that if you're an owner-operator, you're supposed to be leased on with one company, not more than one. But hey, there's tons of people who do it the other way, where they think if they have more than 1 or 5 or 10 dispatchers, they are, doing it better for themselves and things are better. We all use the same load boards, we all deal with the same brokers, everything's the same. So there's just big issues when you're working with multiple companies. But hey, you guys do you. I'm already tired of speaking on that behalf. We just don't do that. So anybody who ever says anything like that to me, I tell them right away, nope, we don't work that way. So if that's what you want to do, that's not what we do in expediting. But people still do that. For the rest of you guys that are just trying to think, should I jump out the ship? Should I abandon the ship? Should I keep going? How much longer can I keep going? How much longer can I last? You know what? Make your van very, very comfortable for yourself. Take on a habit, maybe fishing. Summertime is here. Get yourself a fishing pole. Get yourself maybe a electric scooter, an electric bike, something. Get yourself a new hobby. If you don't already have one, and maybe you got a forgotten hobby, this is my suggestion. Either open up your forgotten van a little more comfortably, and so time will go by quicker for you on the down days where there is no freight. Because right now there is those down days. There are those times where you're going to be sitting a day here, a day there with no freight. It's just how it is. That's just how slow the market is, and that's just how cheap the loads are in some places. So either those cheap people will win it for dirt cheap gas money rates, and they'll go, and we just gotta wait it out until we can get that, at least somewhat of a decent payment for that load, or until, you know, people leave out of the area, and then we're there and they can pay the rate that we're asking for. So otherwise, there's just nothing else a driver can do. There's really nothing that dispatch, anything new that dispatch can all of a sudden come up with, reinvent the wheel. You can't reinvent the wheel. It's just economies in the crapper. We're still working. We're still here. We're doing everything we can. Tighten up the belts. Get rid of some of the maybe subscriptions, some other money sucking things that you're in. That, you know, those automatic payments that you have for certain things, cable, internet, you know, things like that at home maybe that you don't really need, or try to consolidate something into something. You guys, a lot of you guys don't know that if you're using some of the expensive cable or like internet for home, there's home internet from pretty much all the cell phone providers now. They'll give you a unit, and if your cell phone pulls in your house and has decent service, it's a lot cheaper to actually go to your cell phone company and get a home internet from the cell phone provider as well. And it's a lot cheaper. I'm talking about like half cheaper, even more than half cheaper than a lot of places. And hey, if you're not at home anyways and you're on the road, you don't even need that internet at home. You don't need that cable. You don't need that satellite dish. You don't need any of that. But hey, I'm just saying, hey, if you guys have, you know, look at your bank account as well and see what's pulling out money. And if you're paying for, you know, Netflix and Hulu and other things, well, YouTube is free. And if you don't want to pay for ads, you can always get the YouTube Premium and pay that $10. But hey, there's a lot of things on YouTube, a lot of shows, a lot of everything. So it's just a suggestion. My main suggestion is find yourself a hobby, something you will enjoy to pass that downtime easier, and something that is not going to brain press you to, you know, get depressed about the whole job and you know, you don't want to go do that. It's just not, you know, not healthy for that. I know everybody wants to make money, and you probably are thinking, man, Andre, why don't you suggest me something that I can make more money? Well, you guys can make more or have more left over in your pocket if you tighten up the belt in the hard times. That's my main suggestion. And also, you know, find a little hobby, find something else to do to pass the time. That way you're not always focused and always thinking on the bad stuff, like, oh man, today's slow, yesterday was slow, and now I got a short load again, and this and that. You know what? Sometimes it's like that. And a lot of places are closing down. A lot of businesses are closing down. A lot of companies are closing down. A lot of trucking companies already closed down, and it will continue to close down still, because the market's oversaturated with trucks. By statistics, almost 70,000 or over 70. It was over 70,000 trucks need to leave the market. That's just semi-trucks, and we're not talking expediting trucks. 70,000 trucks need to leave the market. That's trucks and drivers. Got to get out of the market, and then maybe it'll stabilize, because even that is oversaturated. Same thing with the vans and expediters. So hopefully, if this is useful to you, shoot me a like and a subscribe in the comments. And if it's not, I'm sorry I wasted your time. But God bless you guys. Take care. We'll see each other on the next one.